Have you ever been to the beach, just swimming along, minding your own business, when out of nowhere, some slimy seaweed wraps around your feet? Seaweed is a type of algae, and although this plant has the power to ruin your day at the beach, it also has the potential to power many other things. Hello, my name is Campbell, and my project is Algae for Energy. Algae is a general term used to describe a group of aquatic organisms that lack stems, roots, leaves, and vascular systems that are all capable of photosynthesis. The word algae covers a broad variety of organisms. They come in different shapes, sizes, and colors, and can be classified in many different ways. They are usually called by color, and most common colors include red, yellow, brown, purple, black, and of course green or blue-green. Nature uses algae in many different ways. It is primarily used for food sources of aquatic animals, housing for small fish and invertebrates, releasing minerals into the water and producing oxygen. Besides nature, algae can be very useful to humans as well. It is a very healthy food product, and it is used for medicine and also in many household items such as toothpaste and cosmetics. But did you know that a simple plant-like structure, like algae, is powerful enough to energize a jet, a car, and even your own house? Algae can be transformed into biofuel by depriving it of the nutrients it requires. This tricks the photosynthetic mechanisms into focusing on producing lipids. A few days later, the water is separated from the algae. When the cells are broken, oil is released, and the oil is used to make a hydrocarbon-based fuel. This is a video that is ready that I'm going to present to you.
We all need fuel to get around, and as America takes steps to improve our energy security, homegrown fuel sources are more important than ever. The Energy Department is researching one of the fuel sources of the future found here in algae. Have a look at this algae farm. These large man-made ponds are called raceways, and they cultivate a new crop of algae every few weeks. You see, algae, or more correctly, microalgae, are very small aquatic organisms that convert sunlight into energy. Some of these algae store energy in the form of natural oils. Under the right conditions, algae can make a lot of oil that can be converted into biofuels. Algae could potentially produce up to 60 times more oil per acre than land-based plants. Extract that oil, and you have the raw materials to make fuel for cars, trucks, trains, and planes. In the future, anything that runs on gasoline and diesel could also use biofuel from algae. The oil is extracted by breaking down the cell structure of the algae. This can be done by using solvents or sound waves. After the oil is extracted, then it is further processed at an integrated biorefinery, or in the future, at a traditional oil refinery. Another great benefit of algae? Consider this. Like plants, algae needs carbon dioxide to grow, and that's good for the environment since it takes CO2 out of the atmosphere, making it a nearly carbon-neutral fuel source. There may even be opportunities to build algae farms next to power plants that use fossil fuels, actually using CO2 exhaust to feed algae ponds. There are over 100,000 different strains of algae. Some grow better in different climates, or in freshwater, saltwater, or even wastewater. So, scientists are testing different algae under many different conditions to find the best strains and develop the most efficient farming practices. While commercial production is still a ways off, algae holds great promise to become a reliable homegrown fuel source to reduce our nation's reliance on foreign oil.
Algae is farmed in large ponds, commonly called raceways. Once the raceways are at the desired density of algae, they are drained and the algae is removed and then dried. The algae can be made into thick paste which is separated from water. The most popular technique used to remove water is flocculation. This technique involves adding chemicals which causes the algae to form big clusters. The clusters are separated from the water by filtration or a centrifuge. The algae are then dried. The oil is then extracted. Extraction can be done by one of two methods, either mechanical methods or chemical methods. The oil is that makes the biofuel. But hey, what about corn? As most of you probably know, corn is also used to create biofuel. Why should we use algae for energy when we already have the eco-friendly ethanol? Well, algae grows much faster than corn, takes less inputs, and is said to be 100 times more productive. Also, algae is a completely renewable source, and as it is, only requires carbon dioxide, sunlight, and water. It is a very sustainable source of fuel. But like every new invention, there are some obstacles to face. When growing, algae must be in a very thin layers to allow sunlight to infiltrate. This calls for a lot of space to farm it. On top of that, algae also requires an abundance of water to grow in. This would require way more water resources being used compared to current agricultural practices. Ways to reduce the amount of land and water needed to grow algae are currently being researched. Once these issues have been worked out, it is believed that using algae for energy could be the way of the future. It serves as a sustainable biofuel that could potentially replace some of the petroleum-based fuel usage and positively impact the environment. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon.